Welcome to the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act training provided by the Kern County Superintendent of Schools. My name is Kurt Williams.
And I am Allison Baptiste.
We hope you find this training helpful in serving students experiencing housing instability at your school site or in your district. With the passing of California Senate Bill 400 in 2021, all school personnel must now be trained on the identification and services available to students who meet the McKinney-Vento Act definition of homelessness on an annual basis. The McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, that we will refer to as the McKinney-Vento Act, is federal legislation that ensures the educational rights and protections of children and youth experiencing homelessness. It requires all local education agencies to ensure that homeless students have access to the same free, appropriate public education, including public preschools, as provided to other children and youth. The McKinney-Vento Act defines LEAs as public school districts, direct funded and locally funded charter schools, and county offices of education. In this video, we will briefly review the McKinney-Vento Act, why it's important to identify homeless students, which students qualify under the Act, tips for identifying students that meet the McKinney-Vento Act definitions, and what to do once you've determined a student is eligible for services under the McKinney-Vento Act. The following local data shows why it's important to identify homeless youth in Kern County and get them connected to helpful services. During the 2018-19 school year, Kern County homeless students had 63% high school graduation rate, compared to a rate of 87% for Kern County school students overall. At 23.5%, homeless students have the highest rate of chronic absenteeism. High school dropout rates for homeless students are 26.3%, the highest in the county. Within a single year, 97% of homeless students move up to 3 times and 40% attend 2 different schools. Children are estimated to lose 4 to 6 months of academic progress per move. Schools are often lifelines for homeless students. It is important to ensure homeless students are connected to caring adults, friendships, and educational services, especially in times of crisis. Schools allow children to maintain a sense of normalcy and can provide students with important services such as free meals and counseling. The McKinney-Vento Act defines homeless children and youth as individuals who lack a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. The definition includes children and youth who are sharing the housing of other persons due to loss of housing, economic hardship, or similar reason. Children and youth who may be living in motels, hotels, trailer parks, or shelters. Children and youth who have a primary nighttime residence that is a public or private place not meant for human habitation. Children and youth who are living in cars, parks, public spaces, abandoned buildings, bus or train stations, or similar settings. Children and youth living in substandard housing, or children and youth who qualify as homeless because they are living in a similar circumstance previously mentioned, and are undocumented, migratory children, or children and youth not in the physical custody of a parent or guardian, also known as an unaccompanied youth. Under the McKinney-Vento Act, local education agencies must review and revise policies and procedures to remove barriers to high-quality education for homeless children and youth. The McKinney-Vento Act requires that homeless students who move have the right to remain in their schools of origin if that is in the student's best interest. School of origin includes school the student attended when permanently housed or the school in which the student was last enrolled, including publicly funded preschools. If it is in the student's best interest to change schools, homeless students must be immediately enrolled in a new school, even if they do not have the records normally required for enrollment. These include immunization records, transcripts, proof of residence, or other documentation normally required by the school or district. In fact, schools are required to help homeless students obtain the necessary information and remove any barriers to immediate enrollment and attendance. Transportation must be provided to and from a student's school of origin at the request of a parent, guardian, or unaccompanied youth, or the school's homeless liaison. In most circumstances, this will mean sharing costs between school of origin and the school of residence. Homeless students must have access to all programs and services for which they are eligible, including special education services, preschool, school nutrition programs, language assistance for English learners, career and technical education, gifted and talented programs, magnet schools, charter schools, summer learning, online learning, and before and after school care. Unaccompanied youth must be afforded specific protections, including immediate enrollment in school without proof of guardianship. And parents, guardians, and unaccompanied youth have the right to dispute an eligibility, school selection, or enrollment decision. Students must be enrolled at the school of choice during any dispute.
It is often difficult to identify McKinney-Vento eligible students, as families and students may not identify themselves as homeless. Some possible signs of a student that is experiencing homelessness may include the following: frequent absences from class, consistent lack of preparation for class, lack of supplies needed to complete class assignments, loss of books and other supplies on a regular basis, inability to get a parent or guardian signature, unmet medical and dental needs, chronic hunger and fatigue, wearing the same clothes repeatedly, inconsistent grooming, strained or severed relationships with parents, a marked change in behavior, poor or short attention span, poor self-esteem, difficulty trusting people. Just because a student shows one of these signs does not necessarily mean they are homeless. However, if you notice any of these signs, you will want to pay closer attention to the youth and may want to consider asking a few more questions for clarity. In contrast, just because a student displays none of those signs does not mean they are not experiencing unstable housing. Similarly, looking at the possible signs of a homeless youth, there are indicators to listen for. For example, listen to see if a student makes any of the following statements. I can't live at home anymore. I am staying at a friend's house right now. We don't know where we will be staying tonight. I have been moving around a lot. I'm going through a difficult time. I got kicked out. We got evicted. I don't have anywhere to shower. There are too many people at my house. I can't concentrate. It is important to ask some follow-up questions to find out what they mean and get a better context for their words. We should not stigmatize homelessness as we work with students. When speaking to a student about their housing situation, it is important to be respectful and empathetic without being judgmental. It is often difficult for homeless students to discuss their housing situations at all. So if they open up and speak about it, it is crucial to be caring and compassionate, or else they may not feel comfortable reaching out for assistance in the future. There are many different causes of homelessness. No family situation is the same. Some common causes of homelessness include but are not limited to the following: unemployment, poverty, rising housing costs, shortage of affordable housing, health challenges including physical disabilities, catastrophic illness, lack of health insurance, mental health issues, and substance abuse issues, domestic violence, deportation, and natural disasters.
If you identify a student you believe is eligible for services under the McKinney-Vento Act, it is crucial to provide the information to your school district's McKinney-Vento liaison immediately. The liaison is responsible for verifying the eligibility of the student and connecting the student and family to helpful services. If you are unsure of who your school district's McKinney-Vento liaison is, go to the Kern County Superintendent of Schools website at www.kern.org and select the tab at the top titled Programs and Services. Under that tab, select Homeless Education Services. The list of liaisons and their contact information can be located there.
We hope you found today's training informative. If you need additional help getting linked to your local liaison, please reach out to Kern County Superintendent of Schools Foster and Homeless Education Program by calling 661-636-4900.
We sincerely want to thank you for all you do serving the students at Kern County. See you next year.